Morning everyone. So this morning you may have seen a post from me recently about taking out some blue time to put some slabs at the top of my garden so I can sit on a bench. Here it is. I thought as soon as I can't go out, I will do this from my back garden. So anyway, I'm wearing amber this morning. The reason I'm wearing amber is because I'm going to be talking about monitoring and specifically about some of the implications that came out of a webinar that I did yesterday for an organisation called Flexpo. When implementing flexible working. Sorry, my gate's making a noise. So before we do that, let's go through the colours. Haven't done this for a while. 3 green behaviours: thinking, communicating and improving. Those are the things that are going to take your business, your people and you upwards if you have the right proportion in your diary. Then there's the amber behaviour: monitoring and directing. Those are the things that are going to maintain status quo, manage risk, keep things where they are. Then there's red, doing, and brown, floating. If you have those in your diary too much, it will take your business, your people and you backwards, make you worse. So yesterday I ran a webinar for an organisation called Flexpo. They run flexible working events for either individuals who want flexible working, but more recently for organisations who want to implement flexible working, something that I'm deeply passionate about. My new podcast that I did last week is all about that. So they asked me to do a webinar, and that webinar was around a product that I created recently called the Flex Detox, and that is all about making flexible working work. So within the webinar yesterday, there were a number of people there. They were mostly directors of HR and people, learning and development heads, and also flexible working heads within organisations. And what I was doing is I was showing them the 5 steps that have been created that create the Flex Detox. And it spells out the word detox, D-E-T-O-X. And as I was going through those 5 steps, the first one is discovery. And this is all about, if you're going to implement flexible working in your organisation on a long-term basis, then it is good to understand where you are right now. And that would require asking a number of questions. And indeed, in the webinar yesterday, there were a number of the questions, not all of them. There are a number of the questions asked to understand why they want flexible working, what their main concerns are, etc. Now, that information itself was really quite interesting. But there was a point that I made during that I think resonated, probably caught a few people off guard. I certainly got one comment afterwards, personally to my LinkedIn, saying I hadn't thought about that bit. And that bit was that although the questions that were asked, I use a tool called MentorMeter to ask the questions around audience polling. It's really good, really quite slick. Although the questions that I was asking were directed at the people on the call, the directors of people, HR, learning and development, and flexible working heads, the point I was trying to make to them afterwards was that this is all very well and good. Understanding why you want flexible working, for example, that was a key one. And the top answer was because our people had asked for it. Now, that's laudable, it's brilliant. But the question I posed to them was, why do your people think you want it? Because it is thoroughly possible, especially now, Jeff Stanley, the boss of Barclays, put out an article, I think it was 2 weeks ago, that said that big city offices are maybe a thing of the past. And I think what some large organisations have realised is that this could be a cost play. This could be a way of removing huge swathes of cost out of their business because you no longer need to have loads of people in the office. You can actually make this happen, work from home. Some of us have already known that for ages, but big organisations haven't. Now, the point I was making was that a fundamental part of the discovery isn't that it's just done with the people who want the flexible working, it's done with the others in the organisation whom it will impact. And my point was, these questions would bring out some really insightful answers. It will reinforce to the management team, the senior team, why they want flexible working, but it will also reinforce to the senior team, because all of the questions are anonymised, why your people think you want it. So if you think you want it for well-being, which is a laudable aim, as I said before, if your people believe that you want it as a cost play, you are going to have a fundamental difference of opinion there, and it can actually be a huge risk to your efforts to put flexible working into practice. So fundamental first step of implementing any flexible working agenda must be finding out where you are right now, not just you, but everybody in your organisation whom it's going to impact. Okay, so that's monitoring, and monitoring is about making sure that things are the way they should be, or the way you assume. So asking those questions and then mitigating that risk accordingly. So if you're interested in finding out what your people think about flexible working, whether it tallies with your ideas, and you want to make flexible working work, then please get in touch. Go to diarydetox.com/flex and you'll find out about the Flex Detox. I'll put a post below, which is the link to the webinar if you want to go and watch that. And I'll be doing some posts over the next few days with some of the insights and results out of that. Sorry I've been away for a while. My stepdaughter cut my hair yesterday. Hopefully you think she did a great job of it. But yeah, in the meantime, have a great day. Have a great week.